Hey, what's up? Well, we're in September, as I've stated before in my last video, and I'm wearing my sapphires because there's my pretty blue lance. There's just nothing like the month of September to make me crave sapphires and blue jewelry. Okay, and I'm wearing this is lapis, this world globe, and I think it pertains to back to school. You know, it reminds me of the whole back to school thing. You know, a world globe in an old-timey classroom. Um, so anyway, we're in September, and what I'd like to talk about in this video, I want to title it My Pooping Dolls, okay? And they're sporting their brand new outfits that I bought on Temu, okay? This, of course, is my favorite, Island Princess Angela Tiki. I decided to finally get her out of that silly get up that they had her in with the towel made into a skirt. I call her Angelica. Okay, there she is in her pretty blue dress to match her pretty blue eyes. See how I got my blue sunglasses? These date back at least 30 years or so. Just wow. So, there's Angelica. And this is actually Luke. He's not wearing his airplane outfit. You know, one thing I hate that I've noticed, it's not exactly a trope, but for some stupid reason, I don't know why, but they like to associate the color green or turquoise or kind of a jade color with Hispanic male characters. You know, the snack and Luke was wearing the one that I wanted, the brunette looking Hispanic boy, you know, because I just think, I don't know, just something about a dark haired guy with a blonde girl just makes so much more sense to me than the reverse. But there's this stupid thing. I mean, it may be just my imagination, but they like to put the white male character or doll or whatnot in a shade of beautiful blue. Okay, they like to have him in blue to accentuate his blue eyes. Okay, or to say that he's the hero. But then you'll have like a Hispanic character, and he'll often wear green. Like, I don't know what the connection is with Hispanics and green, or I don't even know. But I think he looks so much better in blue. So what if he doesn't have blue eyes? I just love to see a little boy in blue. Could be that I'm biased. But you know, I just think he looks so much better in blue than in green. And in something resembling pants. So here we have Angelica and Luke. And then, let's see. We have the redhead girl. You know, I would prefer it to be a red-haired boy, but, you know, girls are all they made in the redhead. But, you know, that's the one I called Shakina. But I don't know, she needs a better name. So here we have the little redhead in her blue outfit. You know, I just like blue in general, but you know, it has some pink on it so that it can be somewhat feminine. But what I'd like to talk about, you know, aside from that, you know, just I love blue. You know, just want to state once again, I haven't said it in a while. You know, I'm totally burnt out on the subject matter that kind of defined my channel. What is it going to be? 4 years ago or something? Just wow, 4 freaking years ago. Actually, it's more like 5 years, so it's definitely time for a new obsession. But I just want to talk about that. How, you know, I just can't even believe the ways in which people have gaslit me over the course of my lifetime. I just cannot even believe it that, you know, so many, I look back on my life and I realize that it's not even just this one subject, you know, where people have tried to sort of gaslight me and try to convince me that what I know to be true is actually false when they just don't know how steadfast I am in my belief. And there are just so many examples of it. I mean, I could just fill a book or a notebook for sure with all the things that people have told me to try to throw me off from what I knew to be the truth in various ways. And they just thought I would just say, okay, I guess what you're saying is correct. But they underestimate my memory. They underestimate, just how strong my long-term memory can be. It's astonishing what I can remember once I commit it to my long-term memory. Yes, I still struggle with short-term and probably will the rest of my life, but long-term is a different story. Okay? And so, like, trying to, people just gaslighting me, I just have no patience with it. When people try to convince me that what I know to be the truth is actually false because they can't accept it, you know? And I was just thinking, a lot here lately. I don't know why I'm thinking about colds. I mean, I definitely haven't had one recently, thank God, and I'm glad I don't. But, I just start thinking about them around this time of year because a lot of people around me have them, including my little sister and her boyfriend who needs a haircut like mine. The world would be a much better place if her boyfriend got his hair done to look like me instead of a long-haired hippie. But I would never say that to his face. But it just really makes me mad how so many people across my lifespan, have been unable to accept certain things as the truth that I know them to be. And not just my truth in the sense that I want to believe them, in the sense that they are the actual truth. Okay, and there have just been so many instances like that where, like, clearly, like, for example, just September of 2002. Okay, I had graduated high school the previous May, and my grandmother passed away. That was when my little sister had to miss a week of 5th grade, not because she was sick, which she did happen to also be sick, okay, but because her grandmother unfortunately passed away, our granny, maternal grandmother. And so, needless to say, the whole family was pretty distraught about that. Okay, but we did also happen to be sick, as I've stated before. Okay, my sister was sick, definitely. I mean, there was no denying that my little sister, and she would get that way near the beginning of every school year. She would get a cold of sorts. And even if it was a milder year, for the most part, like maybe she didn't have a lot of them throughout the year. Like, kindergarten was the worst, but it kind of tapered off after that. So even if she didn't have, even if we didn't have a lot of colds that year, we still tended to get one like around this time of year, like August, September range, around Labor Day. Okay, so September 2002, our granny passed away. And my little sister was definitely sick with a cold, in addition to missing school for the funeral. See, she would have gone to school with it had there not also been this funeral in a different state. We lived in Texas, so obviously my granny didn't live in Texas. So we went to this funeral, and I also caught it from her. Okay, as a 19-year-old, I still was getting maybe 2 to 4 colds per year. Now it's basically once a year, if that, like once every 12 to 18 months on average. And usually they're pretty mild compared to what I used to get. So we both caught this cold. Well, I caught it from her. And we were sick during her funeral, Granny's funeral. And a few months later, okay, so like I say, it could still be a mild year overall, even if we did catch a cold near the beginning of school, like almost always. Like there was never, ever, ever a school year when one of us got through the burr months without having had a cold at some point that school year. Never. In K through 12, okay? So the winter time comes around, and my mom, as I've stated before, she always had this competition thing in her head when we were younger, with her siblings and wanting her kids to be better in some way or in whatever way that we could be, which kind of became fewer and further between as we got older, and were such disappointments to her. And once two of my boy cousins went to the Marines and all that, but when we were little, she still had some idea that her kids were better than her nieces and nephews in various ways. And she wanted to always, one up them about something, And so, like, winter rolls around, and my cousins took it a lot harder, I think, when Granny passed away because they had been closer to her. Like, she would take care of them when they had to miss school because she lived in the same town. Okay, we didn't have that advantage because we lived in Texas. So winter rolls around and the rest of the family is not doing well in various ways. They're taking it a lot harder that Granny is no longer with them. Okay, and so they get colds, around Christmas, like we typically did, but for some reason that year was milder, partly because I was out of high school and my sister was in 5th grade. So she was starting to build some immunity from elementary school, but hadn't yet been introduced to the junior high germs with more kids, you see. And she also didn't have Aunt Flo depleting her iron level, which I found out later that girls can actually see an uptick in colds when they get their monthly visits. Just when they think they're growing up, it's like they take a step back and become somewhat more childish in that way of getting more colds, and it was very embarrassing in junior high. So my little sister, let's say she only had this one cold, like around Labor Day, when my granny died, September the 2nd. Whoa, was it 21 years? Oh my gosh. So basically, she gets this cold, she gives it to me. I mean, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. I had fever, I had the excruciating sore throat, and it was very hard on me because I didn't cry, okay? And that was a huge accomplishment. I did everything humanly possible not to cry because I didn't want to come across as the fake man. I always saw myself as a man, deep down inside. And I wanted to feel like I was just as much of a man as my actual male cousins. I didn't want to be, crying like a baby and all that in front of my male cousins because, I just had this imaginary what, like in my head that, that I'm just as much of a man on the inside as they are. And I thought men didn't cry. But so here I was, and because of this cold, it seemed like I was crying, because I was sniffling for that reason. And so it was very awkward and embarrassing because they probably thought I was crying, but in reality I had a cold, which was every bit as embarrassing to me because that's also a sign of weakness. And in my mom's case, it's almost like she saw it as a sign of poor mothering or something. I don't even know. But, so here we were, we had these colds around Labor Day. And so December rolls around and she hears on the phone, when she talks to her sisters and brothers. Well, one brother in particular, his kids are, around the age of my sister on average. And they had colds around Christmas, which is nothing out of the ordinary. But what really made me mad was how she denied to him. She said, well, my kids hadn't been sick all year, like she always just had to be like a show off, like a braggart and all that. Well, my kids haven't been sick. And I'm like, Mom, yes, we have. And you know it. We were around them and we had this cold at my granny's funeral. And she tried to gaslight me, say, oh no, that was sinusitis. So now that was just allergies. Bull effing shit. That was an mfing cold. Okay? Because allergies are not contagious. Sinusitis comes from already having a cold to begin with. Believe me, I know about freaking colds. I'm not going to tell you why, but my real actual name has something to do with colds. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But just really made me mad. It's like I just got so mad and I kind of went off on a rampage and it was just not pleasant at all. Because she just really made me mad. It was like, I just, it doesn't matter what the subject is. I don't even care if it's like, doesn't even matter. I just hate it when people try to gaslight me. Damn it. I hate it when people try to make me doubt something that I know to be the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like telling me, oh, that shirt isn't really blue. It could be, I don't even know, like a shade of white that just looks blue because of the light or something. That would really make me mad because it's like, I know that it's freaking blue. Okay? So it just really makes me mad. You know, when people try to, you know what I'm saying? It's like they'll try to convince you of something that is closer to the truth or sounds like it could be true. Like it's easier to try to tell you that 2 plus 2 is 5 as opposed to 500, as I've stated before. But it's still a freaking lie. It's still freaking 4. Okay, 2 plus 2 will always be 4. So anyway, it just really makes me mad, you know, when people try to gaslight me in various ways all my life. And that's why I cannot let the subject matter go, you know, about the thing with Angelica. I mean, it's not, I mean, honestly, you know, I mean, who gives a crap? She's just a freaking cartoon character. She's no more real. In fact, this doll is more real than she is. At least the doll has pretty blue eyes. Okay? That's something, and I'm not going to tell you why I love that part of the eye. So, you know, it just really makes me mad because it's like saying that Angelica did not crap herself because Tommy did it would be like, let's say, for instance, okay, these are all my pooping dolls. But we're not going to do something about poop this time. Okay, let's say I stated she's in a beautiful blue dress, or oh, I love the fact that she's in a beautiful blue outfit. And you said, no, she's not. Luke is. Luke is in a beautiful blue outfit, not her. Okay, but how the frick are they mutually exclusive? You know what I'm saying? How does the fact that he is wearing a pretty blue outfit negate the fact that she is also wearing a pretty blue outfit? Or, you know, or like I said, you know, this is Chucky or Chiquina. Okay, how does the fact that this outfit has a lot of blue in it negate the fact that she is in a beautiful blue dress? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, if you used to say like, no, she's not wearing a blue outfit, you're wearing one. Well, yes, we kind of match. Happy September, everybody. It's Sapphire month. So anyway, it just really makes me mad. I don't care what the subject is, but someone freaking gaslighting me just really, really gets me on a rampage. And it's like, I cannot let it go. I cannot let it go. I remember it forever when someone tries to tell me something that I know to be incorrect. So, you know, I mean, it's the same thing like, as I've stated before, like Typhoid Sam. You know, if I said, well, that's my favorite episode because Lars vomits near the end of the episode. And somebody would say, no, he didn't. Otto did, or Sam did. Okay, how does that freaking negate the fact that Lars also vomited in Rocket Power? You know what I'm saying? And of course, you know, I don't care about the others because their names don't rhyme with my favorite non-Earth planet. Okay, I gotta specify that. My favorite planet is Earth. But if I couldn't pick Earth, I would pick Mars. And Lars rhymes with Mars. That's why I like it, okay? I don't care if Otto and Sam also vomited. It's because Lars did it that really matters. You know, I don't care if all the other kids crap their pants. It's the fact that Angelica did it that matters to me in Rugrats. So anyway, this video has gone on way too long. You know, I just wanted to say that the things that I look back on and feel very angry about are the situations where, you know, people have like tried to convince me of something that I knew to be false. You know, that's what really makes me mad. It's not so much the subject that's really that important, you know, because I mean, it really doesn't freaking matter, you know. I mean, it matters to me, you know, that I had a cold when my grandma passed, my granny, I call her granny instead of grandma. When granny passed away, I mean, that does matter. That is historically significant to me because it affected my life. Even though it's a small way, it still affected my life somehow. Okay, it's still significant. But I hate it, you know, like when I would get over a cold, and because of that, you know, my mom just wanted to delete it from our life history somehow. She just wanted to, you know, try to say, oh, well, you haven't had a cold this year. I'm like, oh, yes, I have. You know, you don't get fevers and malaise and chills and excruciating sore throats and headaches. No, you don't get that just from allergies or sinusitis, which I don't even have freaking allergies. I don't really have, I mean, I have mild allergies. You know, I'll get up and sneeze a few times, but as far as the kind that actually mimic the common cold, no, I don't have severe allergies like that. So if I'm getting a fever and malaise and all the symptoms I just described, it's a freaking cold. And usually, and as I've stated before, other things are not contagious like a cold, and so, most of the time it was my little sister, that's why I hardly ever get them today, because it's like I lived in a house with a child under 13 until I was 22, and that child was my sister. Once I turned almost 9 or 8.5 or so, whenever she was born. So yeah, it's like I was in a house with a young child until I was old enough to drink booze. So, yep, nobody's going to gaslight me out of the things that I know to be correct.